Novak Djokovic is finally back in America. He's coming for the US Open. Last time we saw him there, it was against Daniil Medvedev in that final where he was going for the calendar slam. He was one match away. And since then, we've not seen him in America, but finally he's back. And I can't wait to see him back on the courts of America where he is playing well normally, but it's now his equal worst Grand Slam, JG.
Yep, and he's got Carlos Alcaraz to deal with, the guy who beat him at Wimbledon. We've also got some great stories on the women's. We're going to be speaking about it in today's episode of The Countdown.
Novak Djokovic has won the Australian Open. 35 matches unbeaten. He's done it. Carlos Alcaraz. He wins his 14th Roland Garros title. Carlos Alcaraz wins the US Open and his first Grand Slam title.
And welcome back to The Countdown. Here we go. This one is episode 2. If you are just joining us, it's your first time joining us, make sure to follow us on all of the necessary things, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and hit the subscribe and like the video as well. But this episode, we are talking about the return of Novak Djokovic to America. I've been so disappointed personally not to see him play in the US Open last year because I thought it was really just embarrassing on their part that they allowed him to play the year before and then didn't allow him to play the next year. But obviously we have Carlos Alcaraz, like you said. He is the reigning defending champion and he is now a Wimbledon champion and he's now beaten Djokovic in a 5-set match. So this one, well, we got our two favourites. We know from the last countdown they are Alcaraz and Djokovic. Will anybody else come into the picture, though?
Yeah, so the last countdown, just a refresher, we did speak about Alcaraz and Iga. Today, we're going to be speaking about Djokovic and Sabalenka. Is that right?
That is correct.
And yeah, thank you everyone for joining. I know it's been a little bit of a delay. I believe this is going out on a Wednesday. We initially planned to put them out every Monday, but there was a few technical issues, one being my laptop not working at all, and it is still undergoing maintenance. But we are here now, a lot to discuss. And before we go into it, Ben, I want to speak about some of the tennis which has just happened. Since Wimbledon, there's been some events going on. What do you make of this period? Because I've never been as little interested as I am right now. I can't recall a time since we've had the podcast where I've just not been as interested in watching tennis as I am right now. Not because I've lost interest in tennis, because I'm playing tennis as much as I can. I'm still keeping up to date with all the tennis news. It's just I'm not interested in many of these events. I find there's players playing on clay. You've got some players playing in some sort of lower events, and it's just not that high of a standard. We had a good event with Stan Wawrinka making the final, in which he lost. But there's nothing really getting me excited. And I think we just need the US Open to hurry up. And this countdown is getting me excited for it because I know we're going to be doing these every week now in the build-up to the US Open. And I think that's exactly what tennis needs right now, to get some excitement back in tennis because it's missing for me.
I couldn't agree more with you there. I feel that these tournaments that are going on, I never understood the in-between grass and hard court mini clay court swing that people just try and accumulate points just to try and get obviously higher ranked to go into the US Open. For me, there shouldn't be any clay right now at this time of the season. Either extend the grass for a little bit longer or just go straight onto the hard court. I mean, I know that it's natural to end the swing at the slam, but I mean, the grass court swing's already so short as it is. May as well just give it another couple of weeks, and if anything, that plays a little bit more like a hard court than a clay court. So I don't really understand this players just going around everywhere playing clay tournaments. That's not going to help them come the US Open.
I think you're missing just something about like just players wanting to go get a bit of sun and play on the clay,
maybe,
and a good quality of life and nice food. Nice
tournaments
vibes.
in the UK
These countries
right now
are quite cool when they've got the clay court, so they're probably just there having a good time, getting some points. Of course, there's a big demand always for clay court tennis, and the players who are playing, a lot of them it's their bread and butter, and they prefer playing that than any other tennis. So I can understand it a little bit. I just don't find any of it too interesting because it's not building up to a slam, because they're not going to be playing on a clay court. They're playing on the US Open hard court. So there is Washington going on, which has been okay. There's been some good matches. I'm happy to see Eubanks back in action. I know he won earlier. Yeah. But all in all, I've not been that impressed. We had Iga win that event so comfortably in Poland. I mean, rather embarrassing. I didn't watch much of it. Wasn't interested. I mean, the final she won 6-love, 6-1. Never really was going to be challenging. And like I said, the only one I really enjoyed was Stan versus Poprin, in which he lost, Stan. But let me know in the comments section, guys, what do you make of this period of tennis? Am I just being a bit of a Debbie Down? Am I being a bit doom and gloom? That's just how I feel. I've come on in telling you my thoughts. I'm not finding all this tennis all too much interesting, and I can't wait for the US Open.
Yeah, it does feel like, because it's the July, August, the holiday period as well, the hot places in Europe, at least, other than England at the moment. It was just awful. All we have is rain all the time. It's been the worst summer I can remember. Yeah, I don't blame the people for just wanting to get out of London after Wimbledon and go somewhere nice.
I mean, if I was a tennis player, that's what I was saying. The way we've had our summer here in London, after playing Wimbledon, I would be straight to another country. Spain, Prague, anywhere.
Literally, I'll just drop down
anywhere in Europe, to be fair, is better than where we are right now in London. It's absolutely abysmal. But less of that. Let's talk about New York. Let's talk about the US Open. And the first section we have is Contenders. We've already told you what it's going to be, but let's press the button.
Yeah, Contenders. Novak Djokovic is the person we will be going through first. Well, we normally go through their last year's tournament to go and see how they got on last year. We know that we don't have any last year's stats of the US Open. So I've brought up just Djokovic's stats in general from the US Open, just so that we can have a look. And you can see in this one, he gets the final an awful lot, but he's lost the final 6 times at the US Open. He's won it 3 times. Like I said in the intro, his equal second worst slam really now, having 3 Roland Garros titles as well. But
what percentage wise is the worst one? Just scroll to the right.
One sec, let me just scroll.
Let's have a look. So we've got Roland Garros 85% win percent, and the bottom one being the US Open's 86%. So I mean, it's not bad, isn't it? Like the worst one, the worst slam Djokovic has. He's got a winning record of 85%.
It's just outstanding.
That's the worst one.
That's the worst one as well. I mean, 92% at the Australian Open's pretty special, and Wimbledon not far behind, 89% as well. But we know the last time he did play at the US Open, as I said before, he did lose to Daniil Medvedev in that final. It was maybe just one match too far in that whole illustrious season of getting all of those slams, going to the Olympics, failing at the Olympics, playing doubles and then pulling out and all of this. There was a lot of stuff going on with Djokovic in that year. And unfortunately, it was just that one match. He got all the way to just the final match. I couldn't believe it, really. And then he just lost in straight sets. But not many people can beat Djokovic in straight sets in any Grand Slam match. And for Medvedev to do it in a final, that is somebody that we still have to take note of when we are doing these countdown portions. And there will be an episode with Daniil Medvedev's name on it as well. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I just find it outstanding, really, that he's in 2 seasons managed to play 28 slam matches, which is insane. Of course, that means you'd win 3 and get to 1 final. He's got that 27-1 record in 2 seasons. The US Open being the one where he got stuck on the, what was it? Not last year, the year before.
Yeah, I mean, nuts, absolutely nuts. I mean, not bad last year as well, 11-1 as well, pretty good. And then this year, 20-1 could be another 27-1. Who knows by the time it's over? But let's have a look at how the bookies are looking at his odds on this one as well, because before the odds were slightly higher for Carlos Alcaraz. Oh, hang on. I think I've just shared this the wrong way. I'll just share it the other way. Apologies.
Yeah, I've not really had a look at the odds, so I'm just assuming. Oh, it stayed, I think, like how it was before on the last episode of the countdown last
dropped
week.
a little bit.
What, for Alcaraz and Djokovic? Have they?
Yeah, they both come down slightly. I think Alcaraz was about a 2.5 and Djokovic was a 2.63, and now they both come down. And Medvedev, I think, I think he's gone up actually. I think he was 6.5 before, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, they're really painting this to be a 2-horse race. Do you believe it's going to be that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think this is a 2. I think Medvedev, you've got to consider in there. And it's all dependent on how well he prepares. We've got 2 Masters events coming up as well. We've got Toronto, we've got Cincinnati, and there could be some breakout people in those tournaments. Remember, who was it last year? We had Coric, wasn't it? It was really good. And then we were like, oh, is he going to be a challenger? Yeah. We had him maybe potentially beating Alcaraz in the draw, but it didn't happen. But there are certain players. Didn't Carreño Busta win like a similar event as well?
Well, not just that. Busta always does extremely well at the US Open, but I know he's been pulling out of every single event at the moment. And I know Kyrgios was sending some shots to him on Twitter. Like I said at the start, I have been keeping up with all the news, just not been really that interested in watching much tennis. And the news is I found more entertaining.
Yeah, with Novak Djokovic as well, with this one. We're obviously going to be looking at the draw, like you said, I think in the last episode, and it's going to be all important where you get picked or where the seeding is for Daniil Medvedev if he's the third seed. Like, we're going to be studying that draw like that. It's going to be almost like the women's one when we've got the 3-horse race with Rybakina, Saba, and Iga.
I think even more so. I think it's more pivotal. Like, this draw is huge. It's so important for Djokovic to avoid Medvedev. I just feel like for Medvedev, it's so important for him to avoid Alcaraz.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very interesting dynamic, though.
For Alcaraz, it doesn't really matter, I don't think.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he would rather, of course, you say it doesn't matter. He would much rather Medvedev be on the other side because potentially Medvedev could knock out a Djokovic, and then Alcaraz won't have to play a Djokovic. And then if Alcaraz got to the final against a Medvedev, I mean, it might not be much of a view, but Alcaraz will be rubbing his hands together because you can't see him losing against Daniil Medvedev. It seems like such a one-sided matchup, them two at the moment.
Yeah, it really does.
All Alcaraz wants to do is keep Medvedev on the Djokovic side.
I couldn't agree more. Is there anybody else, like just having a look down this list, that you feel could cause either Djokovic or Alcaraz any problems? Because Novak tends to go deep at the US Open, but he's one of his more vulnerable slams. He's lost in the 4th round, as you can see here, in 2020 and in 2019 as well. So, I mean, maybe...
I'm going to throw Francis Tiafoe in the hat.
What about this guy? If he's actually... No, not back yet.
Tiafoe's no, it's not about getting back. I'm not interested in Kyrgios hype so much anymore. I'm kind of bored of it. Like, he did extremely well at Wimbledon last year, and I thought he put himself together and was amazing.
And the US Open.
Yeah, and he's been really unfortunate with injuries since then, so I'm not going to criticize that too much. But do I see him now going again? I don't know if he's got it. I'd like to be proven wrong, but I don't think he's got it. I think we're just going to see Kyrgios go back to what he was prior to the injury. But sad. I could be completely wrong. The name I like the look of is like the one I just said, and that is a little bit up.
Tiafoe.
Yeah,
I think Tiafoe, after watching that Breakpoint episode where they were following Tiafoe, I mean, he's an exciting player. I do like Francis Tiafoe. I think that he does a lot for tennis, being like a spectacle, like an entertainment, rather than it just being a sport. I feel that he does bring that factor, and he has dialed it down a notch as well, and is now I know that we speak about players with controlled aggression. I feel like he needs like controlled entertainment for France's TFO, and just let it loose once you've won a point, and it's a big one, and then you can go back to normal. But I feel like he was like running around courts and doing crazy celebration, focused too much on the crowd and less on his tennis. And you saw what happened last year when he focused more on the tennis. It was incredible, and he was so close to getting to the final of the US Open. But
beat poor Rafa. Last time I remember Rafa playing was that. I don't count the ones after it.
Sad, very sad. I'm sure Rafa will be back. I know that he's on the mend somewhere. He's probably probably sunning himself somewhere.
Where'd you get that news from? That he's on the mend?
I'm sure he's on the mend. Well, I remember he had these.
Is it fake news, Ben? You're assuming he's on the mend.
Well, would you not think he's on the mend if he's had like surgeries, that type of thing?
So if you don't hear from anyone, you think, oh, he's on the mend.
We saw him on a practice court.
You know, must mean he's on the mend. You're too optimistic, Ben. We know your character.
If you see him on the practice court, I always think, well, he's on the mend.
No, I agree. He is on the mend. Will he be back for the Australian Open? Let's see.
I mean, it's a tall order.
I think it's hard to not argue that it's his last season on tour next year.
Save yourself for the French. I mean, it's got to be.
I think it's the last season, man.
The last hurrah at the French Open.
Will we get a Roland Garros at Wimbledon?
Or the Olympics next year as well.
Sorry, Roland Garros at Wimbledon. That's what I meant to say. Oh. An Olympics at Roland Garros.
Yeah. Don't worry. For some reason, I knew what you meant. I don't know why. That's worked together for far too long. Too many podcasts. Reading your mind. But yeah, we've spoken about Djokovic. An assessment of his chances in this one. There's part of me that thinks that the odds should be slightly lower than they are for Djokovic here. And I know that I'm a big Djokovic fan.
No. But lower than Alcaraz is.
No. I mean, maybe I'm saying it the wrong way around. I feel that the odds are too nice for him, like 2.5. I feel like it should be like 3.
His odds should be higher then.
Higher, yeah. So I had to go it the wrong way around.
But 50-50, you got it wrong.
Yeah, that's it. That's normally what happens. We'll have another version of that coming up soon in Tennis Shootout. But I just feel like his odds are maybe too short. Maybe they should be slightly higher now that we know that Alcaraz he's a bit of a force right now.
Beast. Anyway, let's move on to the women. So for the contender, we will be discussing Sabalenka. Last episode was Iga. This one, it's going to be Sabalenka. And this year has been very special for Sabalenka. It's hard not to argue that she's been the best player on tour. She's won the Australian Open. Yeah. She looked good at Roland Garros to a spell and then lost out against Mukova. Looked great at Wimbledon to a spell, beating Keys. I thought Keys was the real one to beat. I thought she was in great form. Good. And then lost to Jabeur. I didn't really see that coming, but Jabeur was in inspired form. Jabeur then crumbled in the final. What's Sabalenka going to be able to do at the US Open? Is she maybe the favourite? Maybe I'm wrong in saying Iga's the favourite. We make her the second contender, which we agree on. But what's her chances?
Well, I think they're pretty good, to be honest. Like you said, she's having a fantastic year. And look, you can see it there from 2023. For the audio listeners, she's obviously won the Australian Open and she's been to 2 semi-finals since then on the other 2 slams. So she's only been deep in slams. Semi-finals is a minimum. And she did make it to the semi-finals of the US Open. The last 2 times that she did go there, you have to think it is semi-final minimum again for Sabalenka. I mean, I feel I'm actually going to go one step further. If she doesn't make the final, I think this will be a very bad tournament for her.
Wow. Well, it depends on the draw, Ben. You can't just say that straight away.
No, I personally feel that she should win this tournament. She can win the Australian Open. I feel that she could win the US Open if she really
could. That's why she's a contender.
But that's why I feel that if everything clicks, she will do it. Just keep the mental together. She can wipe the court with anybody.
Easy then. Easy. Keep the mental, she'll win it. But this season, you can see 17-2. She's never ever done that in a across the 4 Grand Slams. Her best prior to that was in 2021 with 15-4. She's already surpassed it. US Open, I do agree with you. I think she needs to get to a semi-final at least, because she can avoid some of the big seeds until a semi.
Yeah.
And she just should be able to beat all the others purely from her power and ability alone.
Yes.
Whether her mind goes crazy if she gets to a semi-final, we'll have to wait and see. Could she come up against an inspired Leylah Fernandez in a semi-final? I hope so, because I love Leylah Fernandez.
Well, this is
my prediction is this. I think if she gets to a semi-final, she could lose again, but it'll be against someone who's not one of the big three players. It'll be someone you're not really expecting. Like the Mukova story at Roland Garros, like the Vondrousova story at Wimbledon. We've seen Raducanu at the US Open, Leylah Fernandez that year. There's a lot of stories like this. Krejcikova. And I think it could just be a name we're not really, who's just who's a good player, but we're not expecting it. And I think she could be the one who will beat Sabalenka. It won't be a top player who beats her. Not that I'm discrediting them, because of course they'd have been on a great run and might even win the whole thing. But no, I don't think it'll be that. It'll be someone we're not really like. I don't know. I don't know who it is yet. Madison Keys, maybe.
Oh, there we go. Going to keep plugging her. Have you got some Madison Keys merch you're going to bring out?
Some shares,
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Sabalenka, I think we sort of know what we're going to get from her, and that's why it will be a disappointment if she doesn't even get to the semi-final in this tournament. She will know that she should be a contender to win the hard court slams minimum. She just won her first hard court slam in Australia. This one's a little bit more open, as we know, with the US Open, but I just feel like she's got the power. We saw what Iga was able to do last year, and that was not even her playing her best tennis. I feel if Saba just keeps the serve to a double fault minimum and just is able to play her game, she could do this. It's one of those tournaments I expect her to win. Is that a bad thing to say? I do expect her to win, because if she doesn't win this tournament in her career, that will be a massissive failure.
Yeah, definitely. But she's got plenty of time left.
Yeah, she does.
Still pretty young.
Conquer it now.
I know what you mean. Can't keep getting semi-finals and not winning, because one day you won't get to the semi-finals, and then you'll look back on them times when you was dominant and the best player in large spells and kick yourself. I know you've still got Iga, they still got Rebecca who can give her a good match. Don't worry about that. But she still has something what no one else has, and that is that just brute force.
Yeah. Is she going to steal somebody else's nickname soon if she keeps getting those yellows? Old Sakari will be happy if she goes out in another semi-final.
True.
But
we'll have semi-final Saba.
Oh, no. It's all the S's as well, isn't it? What's going on? That's not good. Let's have a look at what she's been up to. We know that she just played Wimbledon. She lost to Jabeur in that semi-final. It was a very close match. She should have won it, really. I feel that was another match that she'll look back on, just like the Pliskova one that she could have won, just didn't turn up, really.
There's a long list now.
Yeah, it's extending. But
could have been.
They are good players that she has lost to. And this is what happened last year. She obviously lost to Iga in the semi-final there and beat Pliskova on that occasion. Quarterfinals, it's fine. Losers to her in semi-finals only. But yeah, Kanepi, that was an epic match. She had to struggle through that one. Nobody wants to play Kanepi. And then you can see Collins, another tough one.
I don't think anyone minds playing Kanepi now.
No.
Kanepi's not that same player. Then
welcome
she's definitely changed.
Yeah, she definitely has. Let's look at the odds as well here. Iga is leading the way, and there's a little special offer there for Saba. If you're on at 5.5, you can get Iga's at 3.5. Think that's fair?
Yeah, it is fair. It's fitting with what we've got as the second favourite. I guess we'll have to have Rebecca now for the third episode. But we'll have to. Maybe we won't. We'll have to have a think closer to the time.
Garcia's there for. I mean, I know that she was good last year, but it's just are we basing everything on that? Has she done anything else to really warrant that?
I think Garcia can be really good at the US Open, but still maybe a little bit too much, that one. What do you make of the fact that Iga and Saba are not as bigger favourites as Djokovic and Alcaraz?
Yeah, I feel that that's correct, because on the women's side, I feel that there's always the possibility that anything can happen. The Raducanu thing and that type of thing.
What was Vondrousova? About 80-1, right?
Yes, 80-1.
So
Exactly
find me an
right.
80-1 right now.
Good idea. Right, here we go. Let's go down the list.
Give me an 80-1.
There you go.
There it goes. Siniakova. She's won it. Name on the trophy. Siniakova wins the US Open.
Paula Badoza? Paula. She's British all of a sudden. Paula Badoza.
Wait, Steph would beat you up if he heard you say that.
Oh, come on. I'll set Medvedev on him. He's not going to do that. I'll stand behind Medvedev. Get him.
Yeah, no, I don't like this 80-1 lark. Siniakova's not doing it. Go up. Wozniacki. Oh, Harvard. What is going on? What is going on? How's Wozniacki 40-1?
Yeah, I mean, that's the bookies are just playing it safe there.
What are they doing? Go down, Ben. I'd find someone 1,000-1 who I'd rather.
I can't. It doesn't go any further.
I'd have Alison Risk over Wozniacki.
She might win it.
Potopova's a good one, 40-1.
What do you reckon?
There's Donna Vekic. Where's Vekic?
There she is.
33s. Ooh.
What do you reckon?
Well, hit me out on this one. Andreescu. Former champion.
Where is she?
Just there. Go down.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed her. Oh, yeah. Next to Nissim. How's a Nissimova in there? She's not even playing. She's taking a break from tennis and she's 33-1. What's going on there? This is a bit crazy. I don't know what's going on there.
Where's Kenin?
She's not on.
Muguruza's there. Look, Raducanu, 22-1.
Hasn't Muguruza? She's having a break as well, isn't she?
No, she's playing, Ben.
No. Raducanu's on there. Are they having a joke on these odds? Raducanu's got the 2 broken wrists.
Yeah, you've got to put who's going to put on there. You've got to have some players on there.
The fact that Raducanu's better odds than Mokova.
Keys. Yeah, anyway, I think let's move away from the odds. At the top, though, yeah, I think 5's not bad for Sabalenka. I think that's fair.
It's pretty good. Yeah, but dangerous. Coco Gauff.
You could make a case that she should be joint favourite with Iga. You could make a case that there shouldn't be anything separating them because Saba, I think, has performed better than Iga this year.
I was going to pose you a question as well now, which I know that it's not really, that doesn't really make any difference, but I just want your opinion. If we threw into the mix Ash Barty and Naomi Osaka, where do you think they would be in these?
It's a really difficult question to answer, but contending.
I think so.
I think you throw them in the hat and you've got, rather than a big 3, you've got a fantastic 5.
Yeah, I mean, not that Barty's ever done too much of the US, but still, we know that she's quality. And
she was good.
Yeah, very, very
and
good.
she's shown time and time again that she can do things against Sabalenka as well. So
is Osaka's odds on her as well?
She's not playing yet, Ben.
No, I know. I'm just checking, just because they've got Raducanu on there. So then who knows what they're going to do? Right, let's move on to the next segment, shall we, JG?
Yes, this one is latest news where we go through Twitter and hopefully it's more successful than last time. We'll type in the US Open on Twitter and go through some of the tweets. Let's see what we've got in store today and we're reacting live. So the first one is for relevant tennis. As per the ATP Tour stats, Jannik Sinner is currently the only ATP player to be in the top 5 on all surfaces in return games won percentage in 2023.
Wow.
And then it goes, it may be crucial weapon for the US Open swing. I think it is. I think it shows his versatility. He's clearly good on every single surface and one of the best returners there is in the game.
Yeah, for the audio listeners, he's number 2 on clay at 37.59%, number 2 on hard court at 30.54%, and number 5 on grass at 23.65%. And again, it says crucial for the US Open swing. I think it really is. And he was a hair's breadth away from knocking out Carlos Alcaraz, really.
Yeah.
You got to think that how close he was to
One
maybe...
small ginger hair.
That's it. Just one.
A little ginger freckle away.
Glistening in the in that New York sunshine. But it's all about the big moments, and Alcaraz was able to overcome it, and that's why he did so well. I feel that Jannik Sinner, he's somebody that we will be speaking about more on future episodes, and he definitely will be a person to avoid come the US Open draw.
What did he do against Djokovic, though, Ben? At Wimbledon?
What?
Semi-final. Poor. This year. Not too long ago. A few weeks ago.
Just not good enough. I mean,
6-3, 6-4.
It was his first semi-final. I think it was deer in the headlights.
Come on, Ben. He can't keep making excuses for him.
I feel like he's like a slow burner, though. Like every time those type of players get to a next step, they're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
and then they're
I agree a little bit. I think he is a different player to sort of one of them young ones who just burst on the scene.
More fragile.
Yeah, I would agree, but still, technically, he's just insane.
Yeah,
I remember watching him at Wimbledon this year. Some of the match, like some of the plays from him. He had a good draw. Don't get me wrong.
An amazing.
He didn't have to play anyone amazing, but still.
No one inside the top 7.
Outstanding. He had some really, and in that third set against Djokovic, he looked good, but just couldn't take a set. Can he do well at the US Open? Only time will tell. Let's move down.
Let's move to the next one. Okay. Here we go.
This Open will be introducing video review this year to help chair umpires during disputes. Video review will be used for all main draw matches on Arthur Ashe, Louis Armstrong, Grandstand, Court 5 and Court 17. What? About damn time. Why Court 17?
I guess must be one of the bigger courts. So that's probably why. Similar to at Wimbledon, there's certain courts like Court 18. That's like one with a bigger stand and stuff. But yeah, brilliant. The sooner this came in, the better. But how useful is it for an umpire just to have a quick look at a video to confirm something's in or out, or someone hit the net, or someone did this, or
yeah? Is this for just the in and outs, or is it for, because it's saying for during disputes?
Yeah, anything.
Is it for like a racket smash and incidents like that as well?
No, if you were to the one that I
will he get a video review of, say, a player smashing the umpire's chair and like checking to see what happened, or
slow motion?
The Andreeva incident where she fell and hit the racket. Like, are they going to look at them kind of things in real time?
I doubt it.
Is it going to be like a VAR? Or are they talking about purely the calls?
We don't want VAR. We just want something that can iron out very, very close calls, I think.
Okay, but I agree. That's what we don't want VAR.
No,
we don't want tennis to slow down. If anything, tennis needs to speed up, not slow down.
That's why I think get rid of the line judges, and we don't even. I think just get rid of the challenges as well. That slows everything down. Speeds. I'm sure if you asked players, there'd probably be a lot of them just up for just getting rid of all of it.
Unpopular opinion as well, because I'm a Rafa fan, but I think I want the shot clock to be as little as possible.
10 seconds.
I think you've got your time to sit down and you're on the chair.
After the towel?
Break.
No towel?
I think that you have your little break, you have your changeover, and you can reboot, get some shade, get some fluids, and then you go again. But when you're actually doing them, I don't think you need to. I understand you keep going to the towel and they're playing at a ridiculously high level and it's tough, but that's what makes it so exciting. I want to see players have to go again after not. I play tennis all the time, and I think that's what would make the sport a little bit more entertaining for a neutral. And I think keeps people engaged rather than here we go, we've got to wait another 30 seconds for a point to be played.
Well, yeah, 3 sets for Rafa is 3 hours normally. Yeah. It's just crazy. And I know why they do it. Well, we both know why they do it. Everyone knows why they do it, and this is why all the best players, they do take a bit longer, because they're centering themselves. They're getting fully focused. They're getting as much oxygen back in their lungs as possible, ready for that next point. And you're sort of making or taking control of the match by slowing it down to your pace. And that's what they're famous for doing. And then they get back in the zone and then they beat you. And that's why I like seeing when they play against the big serving players and you get someone like a Medvedev goes like boom, 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 50 seconds. All right, back to you. And then you get to see them take a lot longer. And that really highlights it much greater than when you see them playing somebody else who's a little bit like Tao, taking ages with all these other things. Like, oh, someone's in the crowd, someone's doing this. Oh, we've got to stop for that. There's a lot of people stopping for a lot of reasons that they don't need to stop for. Probably just getting an extra breather or just to slow things down. But yeah, I think that it would be better if it was a bit shorter.
On to the next one.
Oh,
Quick.
Not advertising them. How did they end up? That's your fault. Right, what's this one? It says
Go on.
God, I don't know who it is. This is I don't know who that we're speaking.
Hey, Saquon, want to bring this energy back this year? Is it bad? I don't know who Saquon is.
No,
either.
I don't know.
Click on Saquon. Go on. Put us out of our misery.
Oh, go on then. It's gonna be
porn star. Oh,
American football.
Oh no! Quick, don't look.
We're alive. Oh no, we're not.
Edit that.
Channel's
American
down.
football. That's why we don't have a clue who he is.
Yeah.
Right, go off him.
All right. Anyway, yeah.
Should have known. It's in the US. Go down. Yeah. Right, last one. Then we're going to go on to the next segment because we're taking far too long. And this one, I'll let you read it because it's your favorite player.
Goran Ivanisevic says Sinner and Djokovic are the only ones who can threaten Alcaraz at the US Open. Oh,
wrong.
JG doesn't like it. And he says Alcaraz is a story in itself, and Yannick is the only one who can threaten him at the US Open, along with Novak. Sinner's game bothers Alcaraz, and they've had some very interesting encounters so far. I'd agree with him with that one. I think he does pose something a bit different, and something I've said before. I feel that the age, it means that Sinner doesn't have as much respect for him yet as he does for someone like Djokovic. And when he goes on court, he feels more like an equal, I think, when he's playing against an Alcaraz than a Djokovic or a Nadal, people like that. I feel that when he goes on court against them, he sees the name, the fame, the slams, and then he just gets beaten mentally. Whereas Alcaraz, you better not let him get too far ahead. Otherwise, he'll be another one of those faces he sees down the other end.
I think it's a bit disrespectful to Medvedev. Huh?
Yeah, massively.
Stick him in there, Goran. I'm not sure what you're saying there. I mean, Medvedev's to go beat Djokovic in the final.
Said he's his biggest rival, he said, on tour. That's what he had at
one
point.
On hard courts, he certainly is. So, yeah, never, ever discount Daniil. That's what I'm going to say. And right on cue, let's move on to the final fun section. And then the other ones are a bit, I don't know, they're still fun, but they're not as fun as this next.
That's a good way to be. Yeah, the retention's going to be great after this. There's going to be all fun all the way through.
No, this is the last fun section because the rankings update is not fun. But
we make it fun.
No, it's not fun. But join us for it because you might find it fun. I don't find it fun. This is the fun section. It is tennis shootout. And so far with tennis shootout, Ben's got an absolutely appalling record. He's hardly got anything right. It's been abysmal. And my record's been okay until last episode. I've not got one right yet on the US Open. You went first last time, so I'm going to go first today. And I've given you the easiest question I've ever given you on countdown history.
Oh, God.
Even easier than spelling Wimbledon. Which you got wrong.
It wasn't the spelling. It was what's on the badge.
No, how many characters?
Oh, yeah, how many characters? It was close. I was 2 off. It was the championships, Wimbledon. Got that
anyway,
wrong,
we're at the US Open now, and this one's even easier than that. So, you ready?
No, yeah, go on then.
So for those who are just joining, and this is the first time you've ever watched the countdown, Ben's got 30 seconds only to come to his answer.
Yep.
So let me prepare my question because
Good.
You know what it's like. Lots going on. Just got to head on to X to get my question, the new Twitter.
Oh.
So, as you know, are you going to press the...
Yeah, I'll press the little sounds.
As you know, the US Open is played on a hard court.
Oh.
It's very hard. Look, you can knock on it.
Oh, someone at the door.
My question to you is, in 2023, which player has the most wins on hard courts? Go.
Right, well, I'm thinking back to the beginning of the year. I mean, it's got to be Daniil Medvedev. I mean, he won so many tournaments back to back. He won, wasn't he in about 5 finals in a row? I think that's going to have to be my answer, surely.
With the number?
What, how many wins?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 27. I'm going with 27.
Oh! He's locked in! Okay, so Ben's gone with Daniil Medvedev, 27 wins. I'll tell you the top 3.
Oh.
Third, Taylor Fritz with 20 wins.
Wow, he just won Atlanta, so...
Second, Yannick Sinner, 21 wins. So
Pretty
we've not had Alcaraz yet, or we've not had Medvedev or Djokovic.
I know, worrying, some might say.
But number 1 is Daniil Medvedev with 29 wins. So,
I suppose. I was going to go 30, and I was like, no, take it down a bit.
No,
all right, I'll take it.
You got it right. Djokovic has 15 wins.
He only plays Australian Open. Doesn't bother doing the rest.
Tommy Paul's also got 15.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Didn't expect that one to be on there.
There we go. Well done, Ben. You got it right. I told you it was an easy one.
Well, my one's not probably so easy, but it is a historical one. But I will give you four potential answers, so you will have an opportunity to
Boris
get it
Becker.
right. Correct. It's got it first time. No.
Agassi.
No. Oh, brilliant. Possible. Right. So, as we know with the US Open, this is one of the ones which I wish that Wimbledon would sort of follow in the footsteps of, because they play these crazy night matches that go all the way until, say, 3 a.m. they're on court until, and then sometimes they have to come back the next day and play. But the first ever night match that was played at the US Open between Billie Jean King and Rosemary Casals.
Yeah, I wasn't born.
Which year was this played in? Was it 1970, 1971, 1972?
Oh, come
1973.
on. Oh, have a break, Ben. Play the music then. Ridiculous. I mean, I'm not born. I'm not old like you. So I'm going to take all of this time just to break you. You're an old man, Ben. You're an old, sad man who is constantly trying to make me look bad on this podcast.
A, B, C, or D?
I'm younger than you. Why are you giving me these kind of questions? I would like to lock in.
Quick.
73. Isn't it? It was either one of them.
It was 1971, but thank you for at least playing the question at the end. But it was.
It's a ridiculous question.
I like to give these ones because everyone gets to learn something about the US Open in this section as well. Me included.
Why didn't you give me like some other ones which won all 1 year apart? You could have done it 2 years apart.
I don't think you'd have got.
You could have done 69, 71, 73, 75. I'd have gone 71.
I don't know if you would have.
No, I wouldn't have because I went 73.
I don't think it mattered the years. That's what I mean. I could have gone 50. But
No, I knew
it was more about
70s.
it was more about educating the audience and myself. 1971 became the first ever night match played at the US Open. And it was a women's match as well, which are exciting stuff.
What time did it end?
5 a.m. I don't know what time it ended. No, I didn't do that much of a deep dive on it.
Right, the worst section yet on the countdown. It is the rankings update. Boo. Over to you.
The rankings.
Such a nice, warm welcome.
Wow, the rankings update. I did have the rankings. I was just pulling them up before, and now I've lost the tab. Let's go.
This is why I don't like the section, guys.
You sent me over the this great one for the women's, didn't you? But I know I've got this one for the men's first. So let's have a look through this one. This is the men's. We've also got some alternates put in there now. So if you are new,
what I sent you for the women's is the qualifiers.
Yeah, that's all we've got, though. I don't have anything more. I thought you'd send me something else. But we'll look through this for now. This is a rankings update. We don't specify which rankings we're updating. We're just looking through some rankings here. So we've got on the men's, everything's still the same at the moment. No one's really playing.
Though, is a fraud. What is going on with him? He cannot catch himself a break. Can't get a win. He's just lost again today against Watanuki.
Awful.
I don't know. He's so short on confidence. I don't know. Is Tony Nadal still working for him? Because I think that relationship needs to end immediately.
I think it's gone. I think he went. Yeah. I think after he failed him too many times, I'm done with this guy. Right, I'm out.
Zverev's moving up, isn't he?
Yes.
Somebody
down? just won a tournament, didn't he? Sasha Zverev in Hamburg. He's normally good in that Hamburg tournament. I remember that once watching him when he lost to Bassashvili in that tournament. That was a really good match. But moving down from here, obviously,
he won an event, didn't he? On grass.
Big player we didn't mention. We just skimmed past him there. You spoke about him in the most hardcourt wins. He actually just won Atlanta and he's now into the top 10 and he's number 9 in the world. So he's pushed back up again.
I think he was. You can't have him for.
I don't know if I want Taylor Fritz, sadly.
Surprise package. Nah. Does that mean I can't have TFO either? He's 10.
We said it's outside. We had this conversation on the last one.
Yeah, I just want TFO, man.
Well, if he drops down, you have to hope he plays badly in the next few weeks, and you might be able to get him when he hits 11.
Then. I'll have Chapo. Don't tempt me.
Oh, or Felix. Yeah, both of them if you want. Looking down here, Cerundolo's looking good. Let's see if there's any other crazy movers and shakers. Stan Wawrinka, that's the big name. I mean, no one would want to play him at the US Open. Really great run of form that he's having. Look forward to seeing him play.
He's doing really well.
Yes, got to the final against Fritz, didn't he? I didn't see that coming. Well played, Vukic.
Let's look at the really lucky players at the bottom.
Who's
like doing so badly right now? No, not them ones. Go up.
Well, that got a bit further. Vesely, Nishikori.
Cecchinato is a bit lucky. He's dropped out. Lestien's very lucky. Was 86. He entered. Now he's 109.
Molchan, was he a bit lucky today?
Coming back up though, so
yeah. Molchan, unfortunately for Sebastian Offner, Offner was 5-love up with 2 match points in the second set and lost the second set 7-5, and then the eventual set in front of his home crowd. Must be devastated. I wonder what's going through Sebastian's head tonight after.
God, look how many places Cilic has lost as well. He would have been a seed. Now he's like 98.
Yeah. Crazy. Poor old
let's have a look at the women's then.
Oh, the women's, we've only got this fantastic thing that you've supplied. So
we've got on this as well if you wanted to.
It's fine. We can just look at I mean, we haven't got all day.
Okay, rankings. Let's have a look at some of the players I like the look of. Madison Brangle, top serve. She'll beat a lot of players.
This one needs to be spoken about. Wickmeyer got to the semi-finals in Warsaw. She actually played really well against Eek. She was her toughest match. She took her to a very close tie break in the second set. actually a good performance. So Wickmeyer, she gave a better performance than the finalists.
Yeah, but Ben, that
One
event's
and love.
ridiculous. That event was ridiculous. I'm sorry, I didn't enjoy watching it. I didn't watch it.
Well, there you go. That's why.
Sarah Rani, look, she's there. Volinette.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the usual suspects, isn't it? Mandlik,
Wallet
in America.
Wallet and Watson next to each other.
Have a look out for the Americans.
How do you find one who actually thinks could do quite well?
Wallet.
Fruitova. Harriet Dart, there she is.
Oh, stop. You did this at the last one. It didn't work.
I think she's quite good.
She lost in the first round, she, of Wimbledon.
Really well before, and I think it's just in my head now.
Katie Swan's down there. You don't go on about her so much.
Dart's better.
What about Sebov? She's pretty good from Canada. These are just the qualifiers. If anybody's wondering about the rankings, can bring up like the live rankings
so we've got
for the win.
Bouchard as an alternate for qualifying. Surprised she didn't get a wild card in.
Yeah. Let me bring up the actual live rankings, and then we can see if there's any big movers in the actual live rankings as well.
Yeah.
One sec. Here we go. Just ping that on there. Sorry, it just takes a second. The site is just a little bit more intensive on the on the CPU. Computer
so how do you
speak.
see the moves and you got to see it there. There's no one there. No one's moved.
No. Keep going down. We've
so
got
Kasatkina dropped, didn't she? Yeah.
Yep, Kasatkina, Samsonova as well. Russians dropping. Anyone else with any big moves here? Not really. I think where's Cocciaretto? They've just updated it, so she did jump up. She's now into the top 30. I think it's for the first time as well.
Yeah,
so
it's a career high. Look, you can see.
Look at that, 22. So she's doing well. Good Italian player.
Yeah, Kostyuk's at new career high as well. Blinkova as well. Gracheva is actually really good, by the way.
Yeah, she played
really
really
well. She
well.
just lost round 1 in Washington. That's how good she is.
She was really good against Saba.
Yeah, but she is really good.
She actually gave her a really good match. I was almost shocked. Look at Paula. Ooh. She's dropping down. Too much love, not enough tennis. And she finds herself 45th in the world at the moment. JG's top 10 for the end of the year. Didn't expect.
I meant top 10 on engagements.
She's definitely winning that.
She's definitely doing an impressions chart. How many clicks? Badoza and Tsitsipas get number 1 at the moment.
They probably would. Alcaraz be up there. Bogdan dropping down a bit. Any big mover? We've got Noskova. She's moved up quite a lot there. 7 spots. Any other big one? Kalinskaya down 10. Fernandez up 8. That's good. Look at her go.
Just in time to win the US Open. I think we'll leave on the Leylah Fernandez one, and we'll move on to our final section, which is surprise package. So this one is where we pick a player outside the top 10 to be on our surprise package. We'll then speak about them throughout the whole US Open and see who has the better combination of players. I think this time we're actually going to work out a ranking system, how to get points for both of us as well from start to finish. Let us know in the comment section how we could play this game. So far, I've got Chris Eubanks, and on the women's, I've got Madison Keys. You've got
Khachanov and Andreeva. So it's a double Russian for me. Will I stick with the Russians on this episode, or will I go away from it and pick someone completely different? We've just been speaking about the women, so let's stick with the women and pick our next surprise package on the women's side. I mean, we've just been looking up and down on this rankings. I'm going to go with...
Have you got the odds up again? Are they still there?
Yeah, I can bring them up if you want.
Only if you've got them.
I'm going to tell you who I'm going to go with as well, but I'm not sure if it's going to surprise you or not surprise you, but I feel that somebody who's in inspired form is made a good comeback on the tour, and it's going to be Svitolina.
Okay. Where is she on the odds?
I don't think she is. I can't see her on there, which is surprising. I don't think they've included her.
It was Wozniacki, but not her.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know what they're doing here.
Okay. Fair enough. So that's your one.
Yeah.
I've already had keys. And I'm going to be going for the girl next to her, Leylah Fernandez. She's moving up at the moment. And Leylah
Ooh.
Fernandez has a good record at the US Open. She's a player I like a lot. I think she could go deep and surprise a lot of people. Leylah Fernandez is going to be my second surprise package player.
Nice. I like that. 2 people who are good and 2 people who are good at this moment in time as well. So I'm going to go to the men's, and we've got here, they've got to be outside the top 10, remember. So having a look down here, it won't automatically show you where they are, but it'll give you an idea based on the odds. I think we know pretty much who's in the top 10 and who's not based upon this. And there's one big name which is sort of shouting out, which I wonder, you can go first and I'll see if you pick it.
No, you can go first. I want you to go.
Okay, I'm going to go Sasha Zverev because he's just come off a tournament win. He's coming back to form, and he has been to the final of the US Open before.
Okay. Yeah, that is a good one. I didn't think he was going to go for it though. So you've taken me back a little bit. Wasn't expecting it. I think I'm going to go for maybe something a little bit different then, completely. 1 second. Sorry about that interference.
No problem.
I'm going to go for... I've just changed my mind again.
Ooh.
I want to go for Cerundolo, but he's just not been playing well enough for me to want to go for him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tough one, to be honest.
It is tough. Not Felix, that's for sure. I might go for something a bit different completely. I'm going to go Yuri Lehechka.
Ooh, interesting. He could potentially have a good run.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's on the odds. Is he on there at all?
I don't see him on there, but I think
Maybe
he'd probably be down there. I thought you might go Dimitrov.
I'm
I'm
going to go Yuri Lehechka. Let's see if he's on there at all. Probably not.
No, I don't think he is, to be honest, but that's fine. Yeah, I feel like I think he'd probably be down here in around the hundreds or something, but it's a good one though, because if he gets a good draw, he's a solid player.
The reason I said him is because we saw what happened at Wimbledon with Safulin. Nobody thought that was ever going to happen with Safulin. Safulin's he's not a grass court player. Lehechka's not really hard court. He's great on the clay, but he's just got ability. You know what I mean? Like you can tell he could play very well on hard courts if everything goes well for him.
Indoor hard, he's amazing. So
so I think he could, if he has a nice draw, could go very well. I like that pick.
Yeah, I think it's a
prefer
good one
to some other players who are just on the fringes of top 10.
Yeah, I feel like mine a little bit safe. Or Angeleva, I don't know. It's just I'm hoping that she can do something special. Khachanov through past form, and I've got Zverev. I mean, speaks for himself a bit. Svitolina, it's not a guarantee that she's going to continue the form, but I like what she's doing at the moment. So I'm positive. I feel that she's just wiping the floor. If anybody comes in her way, like Belarusian or Russian, she seems to really up the tempo on them. So she seems to be beating Azarenka every time she sees her.
You might take out your player then, Andreeva.
Quite possibly. You never know.
Let's wrap up there. Went on far too long, 57 minutes. Usually we try and aim for 40, but Ben loves a waffle. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Join us for the next countdown. It's going to be on Monday. We're going to try and be a bit more punctual. I'm going to be repairing my laptop, hopefully tomorrow, if not the next day. I'm praying it's going to be ready for Monday. And yeah, thanks everyone for staying with us. In the meantime, we'll be bringing you some news, maybe the odd match here and there. There's not much going on until the US Open, so stay tuned on the podcasts. Join us on Spotify, join us on YouTube, join us on Twitter, or X as you call it now, and we'll see you very soon.
Goodbye for now.
Adios. Ciao, ciao, ciao.